So it's been 6 months, or a third of the way around the world from St. Lucia. What has been your biggest surprise, or what was the things that you probably would have expected? Any of you? You got any comments?
I don't know if there's been any real surprises. The people just have been fantastic. I think every place we've gone, it's been something different. So it's never been the same thing any place. We got to the Marquesas, it was all about the land and the formations. People there were great. You're in the Galapagos, it's all about the animals, you know.
Huh.
You get to the atolls and it's all about the water and snorkeling and scuba diving.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest surprise to me, you know, is when you actually finally get to some of these places that you just had no idea existed, you know, and you know, these people have been living their lives in these places, you know, and you just had no idea what to expect. So it's definitely been eye-opening. You know, as far as the sailing goes, it's been pretty straightforward, you know. I mean, we've been pretty fortunate. So, you know, when you're leaving on a trip like that, you kind of don't know what to expect sailing-wise, you know, and what you're going to run into there. But it's been pretty nice.
So, I mean, if you look at it, what do you think our biggest challenge were? You know, other than coming into what we call it in Colombia. When you were on the helm and we had to go in the middle of the night, it was blowing like stink.
There's certain moments that we've had plenty of them that are like that, where you know, hard things to overcome, and then, you know, but for the most part, you know, there's been some tense situations, you know, before, like coming into the canal at night was probably the other one. But, you know, it was kind of the beginning of the trip, and the more, you know, we anchored and got in and out of these crazy little inlets, you know, we got better at it. You know, we were definitely learning as we go.
Yeah, I think the thing that I was surprised at was how with the Ark you got 27 boats, and they all had different opinions about navigation, and they talk about how not to rely that much on your instruments and rely more on your paper charts and all that. But here we came into the Pearl Islands, pitch black, not a star out there, and we followed the navigation perfectly. And looking at the charts, you're hoping that somebody is going to read those charts correctly. So, you know, I'm surprised that I'd be more relying on the combination of all the GPS and the charts and all that. So
I think it was nice having DJ because he'd run up and down the bow of the boat times when I'm thinking, I'm glad I don't have to be up there.
I agree with that.
Like,
I agree with that.
It wouldn't have been too much fun. But
I agree with
he's
that.
up there. And he's I don't even know how he keeps his footing. He's a great guy and a great sailor. So it's nice having him along.
We've all been up there.
Yeah. So. Well, I think that's been the fun part. I think the thing that impressed me, I guess, is the various cultures that we've experienced. Panama City was more or less the way I pictured it. You know, glorified Miami Beach or whatever you want to, you know, Las Vegas or whatever. Canal was an incredible experience. The Pearl Islands, you know, how long we were anchored, the sun comes up and here are the local indigenous people with their canoes, carved out canoes, selling us lobster. You know, what, 7 in the morning, I think?
Yeah.
St. Blas Islands?
Yeah, the St. Blas, I'm sorry, the St. Blas Islands, yeah.
Kuna Village was like a step back in time almost, you know. You're walking through there and you think, holy cow, this could have been, you know, 100 years ago when you're walking through this village. It was amazing. There's a lot of other places. It seems like in this South Pacific, you get a feeling it's a real Polynesian culture and it's just not a show.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the places where we've been going, they're not tourist destinations. These people aren't doing it to try to get tourists or anything like that. And you feel like you're getting the real deal. It's been spectacular.
I agree. It's, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the real kind of the moment where you know, when the canal was unbelievable, the Galapagos were crazy with the animals, but really kind of when you knew you were really far from home was when we finally got to the Marquesas.
Yeah.
That was like, you know, you look up and you're looking at islands, you know, formations that you were just incredible. So that was probably one of my favorite places was the Marquesas. All of, you know, there were the 6 islands that we went to, where it was really cool.
I think that after 16 days at sea, we all were grinning like crazy too.
Yeah.
That, you know, finally you see land, and it wasn't like we were really hungry to see land or anything, but it was just a nice...
the unknown, you know.
Yeah, I think it was more the
you
unknown. Yeah, you know, the 3,000 miles sounded like a big number, and after the 16 days, I think we talked about it the day we were approaching, that if it had taken another 5 days, we would have been fine with it. We were surprised how you get into this routine so quickly. And, you know, I don't know about you, but I found going 3,000 miles across the South Pacific, or the Pacific Ocean, was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we had great days. I mean, we lucked out, I think, with good breeze, you know. But I think we motored, you know, engine hours was like under 11, you know, or 10 or 11, which is
3,000 miles.
incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, we had 4 or 5 days, all 200 plus, some, you know, close to 220 almost.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's exactly what you hope for, and that's what we got, and it was great because the boat, you know, just took off on a you know, a nice reach for, you know, weeks at a time.
So how many? You remember how many fish we caught?
We got a lot of marlin. Got a lot of marlin, but caught a big tuna. I caught a big tuna.
Yeah.
But I think that one of the other surprises for me was actually locking through the Panama Canal.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through locks before, and I'm familiar with how they work. But when you're in there and you're thinking about the history of the place and everything else, it was spectacular. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So looking at all the destinations, I think we all probably have a different opinion about that. But not where we're going, but where we've been. What destination stood out for you individually the best?
If I had to pick one place that blew me away the most, it's almost, we've been so many places, it's too hard to pick one. But if you had to pick one, and it would be Fatahiva. Yeah. Pulling in there's not one other boat there. Yeah. We don't know if it's what says is the anchorage anchorage, because there's just nothing there, and it's just unbelievable scenery coming in. And then you know, when we did get to shore, you know, there's a couple hundred people that live there in the town, and it was just like stepping into like Indiana Jones movie. It was unbelievable. So that to me was probably definitely one of the top.
Chris?
I'm with DJ on that. It was just amazing pulling in there. It looked like something out of Jurassic Park, you know, when we pulled in. But I loved Fakarava and the wall of sharks and the snorkeling there. I don't even know how it gets better than that. But then we end up in Tonga Bay going to this little cave where there's, you know, everybody's going, there's millions of fish. And you go, yeah, sure. And you get in there and the fish were numbered. I don't know if there were millions or zillions, but there were a whole lot of fish, and it was really cool. But just about the time you feel like you're getting a little callous, all of a sudden something like that happens. It's just...
Well, you know, when that light hit I think it was around 5 o'clock in the evening, when that light started coming into that the cave, and then the fish become fluorescent, you know, and I was trying to count them, and they wouldn't stop for me, you know, they kept moving around. So by the time I got to 500,000, you know, I said, okay, enough is enough. So
you count faster than I do.
I think it's got to be in the millions, but that was the light and the sharks, not the sharks, but the fish, and on the hierarchy of the fish, the smallest fish were on the outside. Then you had the enormous schools on the inside, and then the bottom were the big ones. And it's like the hierarchy, you know, you don't belong here, you belong up there, or you belong outside. So, but no, our expectation, we've talked about it earlier, that expectations on diving and snorkeling have become so high because of the incredible places we've been. You know, it's not touristy, it's just being out there and jumping in the water. And, having sharks around you, and finally, for me, stop being scared of sharks. You know.
Well, until they start circling you and looking like they're actually interested in you.
Right.
I thought Nui was really interesting too, and Nui was a lot of fun, and that was a community that was really working hard to make it a place where people would want to go.
And then you had the Nui Yacht Club.
Nobody owns a boat.
The yacht club that nobody owns a boat, but they did a great job in teaching us how to lift the dinghy out. The idea of being in a place where you can't bring the dinghy on shore and all that without it being lifted up and manhandled. But I think we got so good at it, we were able to do it in less than 10 minutes, I think.
I went in and out like 5 times.
Yeah, and it was, and I love the people. You know, cool. In all honesty though, did you find all of the Polynesian people to be, on the whole, just an incredible bunch of people?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And proud of their culture too, which is great.
Yeah. I think if I was going to say my most disappointing part has been that, you know, we did this for a good cause for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, you know, and then, you know, we've raised less than $25,000 after 6 months when our goal was to raise $1 million. And I think the worst part of it all is that Heidi had to drop out in the Galapagos because she developed cancer. And we're doing this to, you know, get people to recognize cancer. And we support the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And then, you know, my girlfriend, who was a lot of fun on that boat, you know, she was mom on the boat. She was great fun. Had to go back because she got diagnosed with cancer. And I think that hopefully in the future, more and more people will support that. So anyway, but so what are we looking forward to?
Australia at this point, I think right now it's Vanuatu, but
yeah, I think the next stop is, from what I hear and what I've looked up, is you know, far remote and you know, active volcanoes and just we don't know what to expect, and so you know, it's a trip's always kind of been a one leg at a time type thing. You really, you know, you just got to focus on that and just getting there and, you know, having a good time and taking in, you know, as much as you can once you're at that place. So I would say, yeah, Tana, the next stop will be cool, and then obviously, you know, Australia and beyond. But,
seen the whales.
Yeah, we could use a little bit more whale action.
Yeah, definitely. not catching them, but actually, but you know, I think the positive thing of all the things we've done is these remote places we've been to, where you get to Tahiti and it's a typical tourist destination, the cruise ships coming in. You get to Port, how do you say, Danu, and the same thing in Fiji, very touristy. Now you get away from those areas and you see the real Fiji, or you see the real Tonga and the real the Galapagos and all that. We've been in just some incredible places that I don't think the average person can do that without being on a boat, you know. And I think that. So, last question: how long are you gonna let your hair grow?
Oh, the hair is never getting cut, but I'll keep the beard a little more trim than it was, unless we do a long ocean crossing.
So is the beard more of a recognition for the Red Sox, or?
No. I think we're going for the Rays this year, and but no, the beard is just kind of a laziness thing, but the hair is not getting cut.
Yeah, you know, it's you guys.
How about your hair?
Well, you remember the Facebook post, you know. So I posted, you know, a picture of myself with my long hair, and I said, I asked people, cut it or not, and out of 98 responses in 24 hours, all but 2 said no way, cut it. The vast majority of the women all said don't cut it. Only 2 guys said to cut it. So the women have the vote.
Sure.
I'm sticking with the women.
All right.
That's a good idea.
All right. Hey, into the future.
Yep.